You're fine. You are a VIP. Fabulous. Okay, well, I have the joy of introducing our next speaker, presenter, host, facilitator. There are probably a lot of words I could use. But I'll read a very brief introduction and then I'm going to sit down because there's something really interesting in store here. So, trained in India, Zee Clarke is a Harvard MBA, former tech exec, who helps leading companies train their teams in stress management. Yes, yes. Resilience and self-care. The author of the book, Black People Breathe. She has been featured in Fortune, Forbes, and Oprah Daily. It is my pleasure. Please, round of applause for Zee Clarke.
Who here has ever been nervous speaking or performing in front of a crowd? Right? Okay. I was 14 years old. The spotlight was on me. It was the solo competition at the Levine School of Music in Washington, D.C. And I was ready. I was ready to beat my rival, Sahel Nassiri, this pianist, who every year beat me. He got first, I got second, every single year, and this year was going to be different. I prepared. I knew this piece like the back of my hand. I was ready. So I'm on the stage, my pianist started, I started on the violin, and in my head I'm like, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna mess up. And you know what? The mind is very powerful. So what happened is that I froze. I could not remember what came next. All eyes are on me. I looked at my pianist looked at me, and I was like, right? So then I just put my violin down and I said, can we start again? And I started again, and I did great. I was fabulous. But guess what? I did not win that competition, and I was devastated. I was so embarrassed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to be number one, and I just screwed up. But here's the thing. That had me wondering, how do I bounce back when things go wrong? How do I maintain a strong foundation of self-care so that when stuff does happen, I can easily not get knocked off my center? And that was the beginning of me learning about resilience. Now, 65% of employees experienced burnout last year, but you never think it's gonna be you. The year was 2016. I was on the leadership team of a unicorn startup with a $1 billion valuation. And I did everything everyone said to do to be successful. I went to Harvard for undergrad, studied economics. I got my MBA from Harvard. I worked at some of the world's best brands. I did all the things. I delivered above and beyond what everyone asked me to do. And yet, in these institutions, people would always say things that questioned my competence. They'd be like, hey, are you the new diversity hire? As if that was the job that I had applied for. So you know what I did? I worked harder. I worked nights. I worked weekends to prove to them that I did deserve to be where I was. And then I started getting sick all the time. And then I wasn't eating, and I wasn't sleeping. And I had constant anxiety, and I had a cancer scare. At a certain point, my doctor said, something's got to change with your stress levels. And now, I grew up in a household, my parents, if I said mental health, they'd be like, ha, go to work. But physical health, I grew up to take that seriously, and my doctor said. So I quit my job, and I went to India. I joke that I did the black girl version of eat, pray, love. Y'all, I was meditating, you know? I was doing yoga. Like, I was doing all the things. I became a sound healer with Tibetan singing bowls. And I had never felt better in my entire life. Like, I think since 3rd grade, when I first day of school, I grew up in a very urban neighborhood in Washington, D.C. during the time when we were the murder capital of America, right? Okay? And I went to a very fancy private school in a suburb, okay? First day of school, 3rd grade, my shoulders went like this, and they stayed there until I went to India, okay? All right? I had never felt so good in my entire life. Now, I got back to the US after 2 years of traveling and learning holistic healing practices, and I went back to corporate because you know what? Dollars are real. Economics, that is serious, and we got to make money, right? So I went back to corporate. I was on the leadership team again of a company, a Fortune 100 company, and corporate America had not changed. But what had changed was me. And so when people started to say things and do things, I had my breathing practices. I had my mindfulness practices. And breath work is the #1 thing that I learned when I was in India. Now, I have a question for y'all. This is a test, and the person that gets the closest to the right answer gets a copy of my book, Black People Breathe. The question is this: how many breaths do we take a day? All right, we got 6,000. Anybody else? All right, we got 10,000. Anybody else? 5,000. All right, anybody else? The answer is 20,000. Who was closest? You were closest. All right, you get a book. You get a book. You want to pass that? Sure. Okay, all right. Every day we take 20,000 breaths, all right? That's 7.5 million breaths a year. And yet most of us are not using the breath to our full potential. A lot of us take shallow breaths just to hear, right? But here's the thing, intentional breathing practices, medical research shows, lowers your stress levels, reduces anxiety, depression, helps you sleep better, helps with your focus and your productivity, and so much more. But most of us don't know that. And I believe the breath is medicine. There is a specific breathing practice that you can do based on how you're feeling. So, y'all want to do some breathing practices today? Y'all want to learn some? Okay, all right. So I am going to name an emotion or a feeling, and I want you to think about the last time that you experienced that, all right? So so the first one is triggered. So just take a moment. When was the last time you were triggered? Maybe somebody said something, somebody did something. All right, you have something in mind? All right, I'm going to tell you a story when I was triggered. I was on a cross-country road trip visiting national parks and camping and doing stuff like that. I was in Sacramento, California, stopping to get supplies at the grocery store, as one does, right? You need food. So I spent over $200 at this grocery store, and I am in the parking lot trying to play a Tetris, with my trunk, trying to fit everything in there because it was very, very packed. When I heard the sirens and skirk, okay, this police SUV pulled up to kind of block me so I couldn't leave, but I was out of the car anyway trying to get the stuff in. And two men, they came up to me and they said, "Ma'am, did you purchase those groceries?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was with a friend. I was like, "Can you get the receipt?" Showed the receipt. They went through every single item on the receipt and in my grocery bags, and guess what? It all matched. Surprise, surprise. I thought we were done, right? You'd think we'd be done, right? He was like, "What's this?" I was like, "That's an English cucumber. What's this?" It was terrible. And then they were not done because they said, ma'am, where's the meat?" Now, for anybody that knows me, you will know that I am a vegan. You want to know how hard it is to find meat in a vegan's car? It is very hard, but they were relentless. So they searched. And they searched all my camping gear, my clothes, all over the ground. All of my stuff was all over the ground for hours and hours. And let me tell you, I was triggered. And I'm from DC. And what that means is I wanted to tell him exactly what I thought about this situation. But I also knew what might happen to me. And I knew what had happened to other people in these situations that looked like me. And so you know what I did? I did my breathing practice to calm my nervous system so that I could say in the kindest, most code-switching voice ever, "Sir, I don't know what to tell you, I'm a vegan and there's no meat in my car. I don't believe in killing animals. You know what I mean? Okay? Now, that right there, that breathing practice that allowed me to not cuss this man out because I wanted to, saved my life. Are y'all interested in the breathing practice that I did in front of the cop? It is called the belly breath, okay? The belly breath, I'm gonna have y'all do it right now. Take a hand, place it on your belly, sit up straight, inhale through your nose and stick your belly out against your hand. Exhale, belly comes towards your spine. Inhale, belly out. Exhale, belly comes towards your spine. Now, in that situation, you can't have your hand on your belly. You can't do anything with your hands, actually. But I have you do that so you can feel what that feels like, because usually we're taught to suck it in. You know, we want to look skinny. But that's actually not good for our nervous system. And a simple belly breath calms your nervous system. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight or freeze, the way I was feeling in front of the police, but your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest nervous system allows you to be calm, allows you to think straight. And let me tell you that this technique, you don't need your hand. You can just, right now, wherever you are, take a deep breath in, belly out. Exhale, belly in. One more. Inhale, belly out. Exhale, belly in. What I love about this technique is that you can do it in front of people and they have no idea. I will be sitting in a meeting room, the table's right here, and somebody says something, I'm like, right, in my head, but my face, because we all know how to do the face, right? Or we try to have a calm face. But with your belly out, doing the breathing practice with your belly out, they don't have to know. You calm your nervous system because the breath is the pause between stimulus and response. I don't know if y'all were in was it the last panel where she was talking about what she learned, one of her biggest mistakes was sending that really angry email, right? Well, a belly breath will allow you to pause so that you don't send that email and you represent yourself in the best way possible. All right, so that's when you're triggered. Actually, one more for when you're triggered, which is really easy, is an extra long exhalation. So wherever you are in the breath right now, just exhale for as long as possible, silently. I saw a lot of shoulders go down. You know what I mean? So all this to say, another very simple technique that you can do in front of people when you are triggered. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Anxious. When was the last time that you were anxious? Where you were worried about something, so worried that you couldn't fall asleep, you know, that your thoughts just kept spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, right? Y'all remember the last time? All right. I'm going to share a story for me, which is that 2020 affected all of us in very different ways, right? For me, I was working at a company. I was in charge of the mobile app and website. I was a lead product person to book emergency childcare. So in the rare cases that the nanny is sick and school is out, and y'all, it was the pandemic, okay? So this company, we did 3 years of volume in just 2 weeks, okay? 3 years of volume in 2 weeks, and our CIO at the time didn't believe in the cloud. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But the point is the systems broke. Everything broke. People could not use the mobile app. People could not use the website, so they were calling, and the call centers couldn't handle the volumes, and the entire company was freaking out. Not only is everybody worried about their own health and safety and the health and safety of your loved ones, especially those most vulnerable, but then you just have this storm at work where we're having emergency conference calls at all hours, nights, weekends, etc. Well, you know, stress is contagious, okay? But you know what is also contagious? Calm, all right? And so there is a breathing practice that you can do whenever you are anxious to calm your mind. I also love this breathing practice for when I can't fall asleep. When I'm lying in bed and I'm like, I just want to go to sleep, I just want to go to sleep, right? Can you all feel me? Have you been there? Okay. All right. You can do this breathing practice while lying in bed, and you just do it till you fall asleep. It is called 4-7-8 breathing, okay? 4-7-8 breathing. You inhale for a count of 4, you hold your breath for a count of 7, and you exhale for a count of 8. And research shows that if you do this breathing practice for 2 minutes, it stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. Now, here's the thing. I don't even need to do it for 2 minutes. Like, so I just do it a couple times, and I feel good, all right? So let us do it together. You're going to breathe in and out through the nose. I invite you to sit up straight so that your back is straight so you get your full lung capacity. Breathing in and out through the nose. And let's go. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. In for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. In for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. And allow the breath to be natural. And just take a moment and notice how you feel. How y'all doing? Yeah? All right. The next breathing practice I want to share with you is about when you're distracted, when you can't focus. Have y'all had any moments like that when you just need to get some stuff done, but your brain just won't do the thing, right? Okay. For me, lately, y'all, the news is distracting. A certain man is distracting. And I can't help but like pick up my phone and be like, what happened now? What happened now? As I'm trying to get my work done. Y'all feel me? Yeah, right? Okay. There is a breathing practice that is very helpful for focus and concentration. It is called the humming bee breath. Now, I'm going to tell you about it. Do not do this with me yet because you won't be able to hear or see me. You see, this is about blocking the senses. If you go to a sensory deprivation tank, right, you will hear a note, a tone. All right, I'm a violinist, as y'all see, right? And so, I'll be in there and it's like, that's an F sharp. That's an A. You know when you see people, you meet people and you're like, I didn't like their vibes. I didn't like their vibes. That's short for vibration, and it changes based on how you're feeling. And so this breathing practice like simulates that sort of environment of blocking all the senses so that you can go inside, so that you can focus. So the way it works, do not do this yet. You're going to plug your ears with your thumbs like this, so that now I can't hear that much, okay? Then I'm going to cover my eyes with my fingers like this. And then I'm going to inhale through my nose, and I'm going to exhale a hum. And I'm humming with my exhale for as long as possible. And then I'm going to inhale again, and I'm going to exhale a hum. Any questions before we do it? As long as it feels comfortable for you, like as long as you can. You want the exhalation to be as long as possible. That's what stimulates that parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah. Other questions? Okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it 5 times. You have to count yourself because you can't hear me or see me, okay? So we're going to do it together now. Plug your ears, cover your eyes, inhale, exhale a hum. And as you slowly come out of it, feel the air on your ears, notice the light on your eyes, and just take a moment and notice how you feel. It kind of brings you back to center. Now, I usually do it 10 times, but this was a demo. Y'all good? Yes, vagus nerve, exactly. So, I got one more breathing practice for you today. Who here has ever been tired? You know, when you're just like, I gotta get all this stuff done, but I am exhausted. Yeah? You can remember the last time you were tired? Was it this morning? Okay, all right. So, you know, of course, usually we'll just go and get coffee, right? Or something, or some of us do anyway. That used to be me. Sometimes it still is every once in a while. But I'll just tell you, a time when I was really exhausted, which a lot of us have felt, is when we are the only. And there was a workshop earlier today, a talk about when you are the only. Because when you're the only, you have to do way more work. Not only do we have to show up and outperform our colleagues, right? That's a given that we gotta, go do twice as much, work twice as hard to get half as far. But it's also like work would just get piled onto me. Like stuff that was not my job. I mean, even things that were like admin. I'm like, I'm a VP. You really trying to tell me to get coffee? Excuse you? Do we not have people to do that, right? And so this breathing practice will give you this boost of energy, all right? It's a little physical. You can sit down and do it, but it's a little physical, but it gets your blood moving, all right? So I'm gonna have you do this with me now. We're gonna do it slowly first. The real thing is faster. Make loose fists and hold them at your shoulders, all right? We're breathing in and out through the nose, and so you're gonna inhale and shoot your arms up to the sky like this. 1, 2, 3, in. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Any questions? Okay, we are going to do it now 10 times fast, all right? All right, loose fists at your shoulders. Exhale all your air out. All right, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. How y'all doing? You a little energized? You want to do it one more time, or are you good? One more time. Now that you got it. All right, loose fists in your shoulders. Exhale all your air out. And let's go. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And just take a moment and notice how you feel. Let me tell you when I love to do this. Y'all know about the itis, okay? It's like, it's 1:15. You are in a meeting. You just ate. Okay, and you really want to go to sleep, but you got to be awake in this meeting, okay? Now, note that I'm not saying to do all these breathing practices in front of people. People do not need to know about your secret powers, okay? So the ones I said to do in front of people are the belly breath without your hand, the extra long exhalation, but I'll just go to a little conference room and do a little, you know what I mean? And then I walk out and I'm like, I'm good, hey, you know what I mean? Okay. So those are some breathing practices. My book, Black People Breathe, every chapter is something that happens to black folks, whether it is racial profiling, whether it's you're the only, dealing with microaggressions, all sorts of stuff. And in the back, you could be like angry. Okay, what do I do when I'm angry? Go to page 55, all right? So check that out. I also share a practice in this book, which is that it is important to have a strong foundation of self-care, all right? And to know what helps you to feel good. Because in those moments, your lowest moments when like stuff happens, we've all had those days, your brain isn't thinking straight. So it's helpful to have a go-to list. So I invite you to think about finishing this sentence for you. I feel restored when, all right? I feel restored when. When in moments where after you do something, you feel great, you feel restored, you feel rejuvenated. For me, it's when I take a long bath, okay? So I am curious, what is it for y'all? Can we get some anybody hands? Being outside in nature, yes. What else we got? Bath and the beach. Yes, and the vitamin D. I mean, there's research and science behind this. You were going to say something? When I go to my dance cardio. Yes, dance cardio class. And I'll just say physical activity in general, whatever that might be for you. Whenever you go out to eat with friends. And it's not just going out to eat with friends, but it's that community. It's like hanging out with the people. There are certain people that add energy, right? There are energy takers and there are energy givers, right? So when you're with the energy givers, hopefully all the people we're around are energy givers, but I'm just saying, What else? I feel restored when? Bath and beach, yes. Hanging out with your canine child, yes. And there is also research around that about how pets and petting and that physical contact really restore us. Cooking, that is also me. For me, I just get in the kitchen and something about because I'm not a recipe person. I'm somebody that feels through the cooking, a little taste, a little add, and that process, I'm with you. Any others? Hey, when that cocktail hits. Now, it depends on which number cocktail. I'll just throw that out there because there's you know what I mean? But yeah, right? And it's different for all of us. Note that some of us had similar answers, but others were different. So knowing what it is for you. So one of your homeworks for today is to make your list. What are the things? Because then when you're having a bad day, you can just go to your list and then be like, which of these, because maybe you don't have time to go to the beach, but maybe you can just walk outside for 10 minutes, right? Or whatever that might be for you. I'll also say for me, music is very, very helpful for that. Okay. The other thing I want to share with you in terms of just dealing with burnout and resilience and kind of making yourself feel good is this phrase that really moved me, and I was like, that is so simple and true. The issues are in the tissues. The issues are in the tissues. Something happens and you feel like you just got punched in the gut, or you got that lump in your throat, or your shoulders just tightened up, right? The issues are in the tissues. And so one thing that you can do in the middle of your day is move your body in a way to move that energy away. And a very simple thing that you can do at your desk is to stretch. And so right now, we're just gonna do a couple quick stretches, because for me, often it's like right here. So I invite you to interlace your fingers and inhale up to the sky, and then exhale over to your right side. And we're gonna be here for 5, breathing. 4, notice where you feel it. 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center, inhale up. Exhale over to the other side. We're going to be here for 5. Can you stretch even more? 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And just take a moment and notice how you feel. How y'all doing? Good? All right. Now, something else happens in my neck. My neck gets tight. So I invite you to exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, roll your right ear to your right shoulder. Exhale, back chin to chest. Next one, we're going to go to the other side. Exhale, chin to chest. Now, some people like to go all the way around. There's controversy about your spine and whether that's good for you, so you do what feels good for you. But where you feel go slower there. Stay there a little bit longer. You know that spot? We all got that spot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just one more on each side. And relax. Mm-hmm. How y'all doing? Okay, we're going to do one more. These are just simple ones because I'm saying in the middle of your day. You know what I mean? Like you got one meeting to another meeting and there's no time, right? So it's like each of these things, you can just do one of them. You could do a breathing practice for 60 seconds. You could do a stretch for 60 seconds, all right? There is one, actually I didn't realize I wanted a chair, but that's okay. Y'all are in chairs. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna demonstrate this with the chair, which is a spinal stretch. So basically, inhale your right arm up to the sky. Exhale, right hand to left knee, and then look over your back shoulder. You might even use your back hand on the chair. And now inhale and allow your spine to lengthen. Exhale, look over your back shoulder even more. And we're gonna be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Other side. Inhale your left hand up to the sky. Exhale, left hand to right knee. Look over that back shoulder, and we're going to be here for 5. Imagine your spine lengthening. 4, look over that back shoulder even more. 3, 2, 1, and come back to center. And just take a moment and notice how you feel. We good? All right. So these are just simple things that you can do in the middle of your day. I also just want to highlight breaks are very important. And there's a lot of research around how if you go, 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 you get diminishing returns, right? But if you take just a couple minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, some of us don't have that. I mean, I have been in jobs where I barely had time to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm holding it in the meeting. Y'all, you see, you're laughing because you've been there. Yeah. Yes, exactly, right? So I get it. But guess what? If we can go, you need to go to the bathroom. So you could breathe in the bathroom. You know what I mean? You just excuse yourself. It's fine. It's going to be fine. You need to be alive and well. Okay, the last thing that let me see how much time I have. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to share with you, back to the issues are in the tissues, is that there are a lot of nerve endings in our face. And so y'all are about to get a massage. Did you know you were going to get a massage today? Wait, how are you going to get a massage? I'm about to show you. I invite you to take your thumbs, put them on your temples here, take 2 fingers, middle finger and index finger, and go to the middle of your hairline. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and just trace your hairline to the sides. And then come back to the middle, and then trace it back down, exhaling. Now play with the pressure. Do you want it harder? Do you want it softer? Do you want it faster? Do you want it slower? But do what feels good to you a couple more times. And now we're going to go to our eyebrows. And so you're going to go to your inner eyebrow right here. Inhale. And exhale and trace your eyebrows out to the sides. And go back to the inner eyebrow and just trace your eyebrows. Breathing. Make sure you're breathing. And now under the eye there's a bone. So go to like the top of your nose. And you're going to trace that bone. From the inside to the outside, like that. Yes, exactly. And you're breathing deeply, and you're allowing yourself to feel this, and you're giving yourself what you need. And now we're going to do the cheekbones. So go to your nostrils right here, and go trace your cheekbones, starting from the middle. Yes. And now we got 4 fingers under the cheekbone, and you're going to go down. I know it looks weird. Nobody's looking at you. Y'all are looking at me. Down, and play with the pressure. Feel what feels good. Now, there is a thing, like a muscle where we chew from right here, kind of in your jaw right here. And so take your 2 fingers, find that spot, if you like that, you feel that, you know what I mean? And make circles. Now, some people, they like this harder. If you're somebody that likes a hard massage, you can use the palms of your hands and go like this, but some people don't like that. They prefer the fingers. So do what feels good to you. Make circles, and then go in the other direction. We hold a lot of stress in our jaw and right here. It allows you to relax. Few more times. And now I invite you to take your fingers, come to your hairline here. Now, those that have gotten their hair done, right, and you got that shampoo, right? And it's the best shampoo of your life, and they're massaging your scalp, So massage your scalp. Yes. I see Larry just walked in. Larry, I had a slide that I shared. Is that slide somewhere? Yeah, okay. So we are massaging our scalp, and really notice, do you want it harder? Do you want it softer? Where is your intuition guiding you? Is it in the back of your head? Is it in the middle? All right, yes, right? Use your thumbs, use your fingers, feel that, and breathe, and then relax. One last thing that we're going to do is you're going to take your hands at your hairline and just sweep your face down, exhaling. One more time from the top. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale it out. And thank yourself for a wonderful massage that you just gave yourself. Okay? Yes, exactly. And you can do any of these things in the middle of your day. So when you are stressed out, you just got to remember one of them. And do of the things that you learned today, do one of the ones that resonated with you, that feels good. Write it down, put it on sticky notes. When you're having a day, you can just do that. All right. With that said, I wanted to take some time to open it up to questions. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so my question is, at what age should we be teaching some
Yes.
of these breathing techniques to our kids?
Yes. Well, there are actually books for children, like young, like toddler age, to teach breathing practices. And in fact, sometimes breathwork is incorporated into like emotional learning in early education. So I'd say maybe the ones that are holding the breath, I might just check with I might check with a doctor on some of those, but the deep breaths are very helpful. And the kids love this one. It's like a game for them. And so by teaching them, first it's awareness. I am experiencing anger. I am experiencing exhaustion. Getting them to be aware of that and then teaching them, but very early. And in fact, I know some folks in Atlanta that are bringing breathwork into schools. Yeah. Oh, do you want the thing? They might want it for the
recording, sorry.
Yes.
Hi. So my question is, I like the idea of the massage,
Yes.
but I'm gonna be honest, the first thing I thought of is I'm messing up my makeup. So I'm wondering, do you do that during the middle of the day? Are people doing that? Should I be bringing a repair kit with my makeup? Or?
So, I mean, it's we all have different preferences and different amounts of makeup that we wear, but I'll say, think about, I gave you a whole routine, but there might be a couple of them that felt really good. For example, some people just like to do the temples and just like this, and that's not gonna ruin your whole situation. Some people really like the jaw one, and so they just do that. So I would say pick one or two, and then you could do that and it won't ruin your makeup. Otherwise, yes, bring a little kit.
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
This was amazing, by the way. Thank you. Quick question. Are there any mantras that you incorporate into your breathwork practices?
Ooh, okay. I mean, everybody is different, right? And every mantra sits differently with different people. I will tell you my favorite mantra is this: today I choose me. Today I choose me, because a lot of us put other people first all the time, especially women. I mean, there are some men that might, sorry, no offense, I love y'all. But you know what I mean? But like, a lot of us put other people first all the time just by default. And so today I choose me has been a really powerful mantra for me, because it's like, I deserve this. You know what I mean? And like me giving, if I don't treat myself with this love, how can I expect other people to treat me the way I want to be treated? I will also say that there's a chapter in my book called Countering Imposter Syndrome, and there I share a lot about the research on affirmations. And so you might also choose to use affirmations in there, but let me tell you about some of the research on affirmations. The research says that it is more effective when you use your name and not I. So a lot of people will say I, but the thing is, I comes with all this ego stuff. It's like, but in 5th grade, my teacher said, and my older brother always made fun of me because, the I has all that junk. But your name, it's almost as if somebody else is saying it, and then it is true. So use your name and not I. The other thing the research says is that present tense is better than future tense. So I will be an amazing marketer is different than I am, or Zee is an amazing marketer, right? So present tense and use your name. And also repetition, repetition, repetition. And so some people talk about sticky notes on the mirror in your bathroom. That works for some folks. Some folks have reminders on their phones, which just pops up a couple times a week or every day or what have you. But having those, that because your brain processes it, you don't even realize that subconsciously you saw it and it did something. It is reprogramming. Because sometimes we need to deprogram all of the stuff that we learned, especially the stuff that we learned about ourselves. There is a teacher who I admire a lot, Michael Beckwith, who says, the greatest story ever told is the story you told yourself about yourself, right? What is that story that is in your head? And so you can counter that with the affirmations, and I might include affirmations as you breathe as well. Other
Yes. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you for this because I'm missing Pilates while I'm here. And I just started doing Pilates in August. My daughter actually said, Mom, you should try it. You're always under stress. And for me, it's just helping me learn how to focus. I'm undiagnosed, I'm sure, a whole lot of things, ADHD, whatever, because I'm like always all over the place. So it really helps because you have to focus in a class and you have to pay attention to your breath. I would love to know how we can get your book. And then I do workshops for parents in middle school, college, and high school kids. And recently, I do these workshops, I do breathing techniques, and I bring someone in, a professional, when I do it in person with the young people, because I want them to learn how to practice, not just on focusing on college, like the college process is not the only stress they're ever going to encounter in life.
Yeah.
And I want them to have a toolbox just going forward. And recently I did a workshop with a bunch of parents who pay a lot of money, they're Black parents whose kids go to very expensive independent schools. And I could see them looking at me on the Zoom like, what is she talking about? Why is she making us do these breathing exercises? Because I wanted them to know that their kids are watching them. And if they're always at a high stress level, their kids are going to model that behavior. So I did it anyway. I knew it was a risk, but I was like, I got to at least show these parents that they got to take care of themselves. So thank you for this.
Yes, you are welcome. And I will share that I encounter skeptics, right? Like a lot of people are like, that's some woo-woo stuff. And you know what I bring to them? Research. So there is medical research that shows that this is helpful for ... a long list of things that I shared: stress, anxiety, right, sleep issues. And so if you present it in a way of problems that people know that they have, that they can't fix themselves, then they will receive. Yeah.
Hi, Zee. Thank you for sharing this. I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts as someone who does affirmations with the alignment of both verbal affirmations and written affirmations and the I am?
And the I said that?
And the I am, present tense. I am great, saying it and then writing it.
Yes, okay. So I find that saying it is very powerful out loud, using your voice. And I'm going to even give you a pro tip, which some people are uncomfortable about, but it's worth the discomfort. Remember we talked yesterday about growth and discomfort? In the mirror. Look yourself in the mirror and say the thing. And say it loudly and say it proudly. In my book, and in a lot of my workshops, I share an exercise where you stand up in a power pose. I went to Harvard Business School, right? There's power poses, there's research about it, and like this, and I'm like, here's my affirmation on violin. Because I classical music, I ended up getting into Juilliard, and like I was in the Brooklyn Symphony, and I did all this classical stuff. Classical musicians very rarely transition, okay? I play with bands now. I can play with house DJs, I can play with hip hop artists, I can play with singer-songwriters, and I had a chip on my shoulder about improvisation, okay? Being able to just hang, and now I can. But how? Because of these affirmations. So my affirmation is stand in my power pose, chest out loud in the mirror. Zee is amazing at violin improv. And I say it 10 times. Zee is, and this is what I do. I change the emphasis. So in my book I share, I change the emphasis of the words. So Zee is amazing at violin improv. Zee is amazing at violin improv. You change the emphasis and you say it with oomph, you know? So yes to saying it, writing it. I'll say I haven't had as much, for me personally, like everybody's different, I haven't had as much of the like immediate like oomph, I feel it in my body, like this is true, but I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, journaling and writing stuff is helpful. And then must be present tense and use your name.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Other questions? Oh, how much time do we, okay.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you so much. I'm curious, how your experience of those big movements of affirmations, has it changed any stories of imposter feelings for you?
For sure. That's why I teach it, because it's had huge impact. I mean, I've had so much imposter syndrome in my life. I can't even tell you. from the violin, right, to just being in corporate, especially as I rose up in the ranks and I would be the only black person on the leadership team, right? People would say things to me that made it seem like they didn't believe that I was supposed to be there, you know? Or we talked in one of the last sessions about like being muted and people don't hear you. You say something in the room, people just like don't even pay attention, and then somebody else says the same thing 5 minutes later, and you're like, I just said that, you just used different words, I don't even understand. And it's like, is it me? Is it how I'm saying it? Was it the words that I chose? You know, and my resume looks good. You know, I went to Harvard twice. I got all these brands. I did all the things. And so it's definitely helped me in terms of my confidence showing up in a room so that I was able to go into a board meeting, right? To the venture capitalists that invested in our company, you know, and as a person that, right? Like young, right? To show up and be like, this is me, this is my, you know what I mean? Like to show up and speak in front of people, it's especially been helpful in speaking in front of people and also trying things that I was a little bit hesitant to try because I was scared of failure. Because as an overachieving perfectionist, does anybody understand that, feel that? You know what I mean? Okay, overachieving perfectionist, we cannot fail, right? So if you don't want to fail, then you're not going to try, and that self-sabotage is the whole thing. So yes. Okay, any other questions? All right, I have a final violin song that I want to play for you, and then a little lasting goodbye thing. But there is a song that has been near and dear to me, and not just me. And and so I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to let's see if you recognize it. It has been a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you for being open-minded about trying new, maybe weird-looking breathing practices. I want to share there's a QR code here in case you want to join my mailing list. I send one email a month about, you know, tips and things like that, self-care tips. I also have an event coming up that is virtual on February 22nd, which is ancestral breathwork to heal from generational trauma. And so a lot of us, you know, we inherit stuff that's not ours, right? That's, you know, it's like, why do I still have a scarcity mindset regardless of how much money is in my bank account, right? Because my mother did, because her mother did, right? And so there is a certain type of breathing that takes you almost to a psychedelic state because a lot of that stuff sits in our subconscious mind. And so it's a certain type of breathing coupled with a curated musical journey, all from musicians from the African diaspora, that takes you to a state to listen to your ancestors and to help release some of that trauma. So if you join my mailing list, you'll hear about it, but February 22nd online, and if you scan this QR code, you will get a guided breathing practice from me. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the symposium, and it has been an absolute pleasure. Bye, everyone.